I think for the cities, it's mainly across Europe where you're looking. You see the migration of the people to the jobs, and that the jobs are in the cities. So the problem is of housing shortages across Europe in all cities you're looking at. But quite funnily, one of the markets from the research perspective I find most interesting for the last 1.5 years, and I've been talking a lot to people internally and investors, was Ireland, or is still Ireland, because I think it's a market where you have a lot of changes seen in the last 3-4 years. You have currently, given the problems in the owner-occupier sector, you had rented stock available that would have never come to the market if you hadn't the collapse on the owner-occupier market. So that is some of the things I would say. Ireland is one of the markets I find very interesting, although the market now is maturing more and more with more and more deals being done, and now the competition is getting harder because more and more investors realize that there is an opportunity there. And I think most of the possibilities are gone. There are still some possibilities in the market, but going 12 months back, it would have been a much better time. But I think most investors, given the Irish overall economic situation, would have not been able to go there.
And does that mean, this introduces slightly the topic of the distress side, does that mean then that if people are now almost missing the Irish situation, does that mean that they should now be looking at Spain?
It is a little different situation in Spain, I would say. I wouldn't rule Spain out saying it's a no-go area. I think it's better looking at Spain now than looking at Spain in 2 years' time if the economic side is stabilized, because then every core investor is coming back to the market. So better do it now than in 2 years' time, yes. But I think the resi side in Spain is a little different given the history, the owner occupation rate and everything. So especially looking at Dublin, you have international companies, you have a high fluctuation of the employee side, which favors a rental sector. And that is not a similar situation you found. Maybe it's a little similar to the situation we found in Denmark 4 or 5 years ago, what you have now in Dublin. Because Denmark, with the problems in the Danish housing sector 3-4 years ago, with the collapse of a lot of developers, that brought rental stock to the market that would have never been come to the market if the sector would not have collapsed. There were opportunities. There are still some opportunities there. There you have seen the people moving in. It was ourselves, we came in the market, Catella was coming in the market, some Swedish investors were coming to the market. So that was a situation that you find similar in Ireland. And I still believe in the Danish market if you look at the city side. In the Nordics in general, I would say, yes, Sweden is interesting, but it's highly regulated and you have to be very selective where you go for. Finland is very attractive. You have, I would say, the most rental market in Finland than in any other European country. The only thing it's a very local market, and Finnish is not the easiest language to learn. So that is maybe one of the points that makes it very hard to get in the market.
Oh yeah, I also find the Finnish market is remarkable, you could say. It's a small market. It spiked somewhere down the line some couple of years ago. So I'm a bit cautious regarding the exit strategy in there. I'm sure you have a comment on that, Marcus.
I think looking at the exit strategy, yes, it's quite challenging, because if you look at the Finnish market, most of the transactions, if you look at the institutional side and the resi sectors, concentrating on the Helsinki metropolitan area, because that's the major growth market in the region. But the attractiveness also comes from, you can increase rents by 8% per year. Something for a German investor is very hard to learn. When we first talked to a German investor saying we have a business plan increasing rents for the coming 3-4 years by 6-7% per annum, they thought we were quite crazy and didn't understand what to do, because it's a completely different legal framework. So you're right, the exit side is quite hard, but nevertheless, you also have political interest in rental market in Finland, because they realize they need more stock, because you have the migration problem as in all the European countries. So, and I will strongly be a believer in that you still always find an exit side, because the Finnish institutions are still heavily interested in the resi sector. So if you currently own something there and it's in a good location, you will always find a buyer if you want to exit.